All right, we're back out for day 2 of the first of the year 2024 hive checks. We checked some of them yesterday. This video is going to be on reversing or rotating boxes. I keep seeing a lot of people say it's not necessarily and don't need to do it. And for some hives that might be true, but for some hives it's definitely, you definitely need to rotate them. They move up. Bees want to move up in the spring. They'll move down in the fall. As they put honey in, they'll start moving down. But you want that's what they do when they put honey in the supers, and you definitely want them moving up and not down. So they definitely need to be rotated, or at least rotated. At least some of them do. So we'll look at a couple of them here. We got through some of them yesterday. We'll try to get through the rest of these here today, and maybe go to at least one of the out yards and maybe get it done while the weather's good. It's February 21st. Weather's about 65 degrees. It's after lunchtime. It's around 1 o'clock, and it's good and warm, and bees are in the garage and out flying everywhere. They're bringing in all kind of pollen. It's maple, it's some of the light brown yellowish pollen, and then henbit and dead nettle is some bright red pollen that's coming in. So they're building up. Everybody says, well, don't encourage them, and you don't want to do anything to let them build up quicker, but they're building up quick on their own. It should be happening in March, and it's happening toward the end of February. So it's all right. We're going to be on top of it, and we'll give them what they need, make sure they got plenty of space, and have the room for the queen to lay, and see what we need to do, and go from there. But it's plenty warm enough to get into them, even though it's February. So we'll get into a couple here in just a second. All right, back here at the hives. This is the last one we checked yesterday. 220. Looks good. 6 frames. Needs liquid feed. I'm gonna put some liquid feed on them since it's so warm. Since I found out which ones need it for sure. We got the short one. Now we're getting this stuff. And we're getting this double. It's got a shallow and a deep. So we'll get it and see what it looks like. There's a lot of variability, and we've talked about it before, in beekeeping. And especially in my hives right now, there's 3 things you got to worry about in beekeeping. There's three reasons bees die in the wintertime. And one is mites is the biggest reason. Second one's nutrition, which we've been feeding fondant, and we're going to feed some more liquid feed. So we took care of those 2 pretty good. And the third one's queens. And I've done a poor job at doing the queens. But it's hard when you work full time to have time to do your own queens. You can buy queens from somewhere else, but you're taking their genetics, whatever it might be, good, bad, or indifferent, and putting them in your apiary. So if you can raise your own queens and take advantage of your own bees that's adapted to your weather, your style of management, they're going to do a lot better than any other queens that you can get. So we're going to look in this hive. This is number 23. Pollen coming in everywhere. Let's see, any bees coming and going? They must be on the other side. I don't know. Oh, they're so good. I'll set that down there in case we need to set this top box on them. Put that over there. I'm not sure if our entrance is stopped up or if they're coming somewhere else, or what's going on. And we're going to take it apart anyway. We'll take it apart and see. There's plenty of bees in here. they've been coming and going or not. Act like their entrance is stopped up. Well, it's open. We're going to move this down here. Another trick, beekeeping tip, if you will. If you want to inspect a hive and not have as much attention, is to move it to a place that the bees aren't. So we'll take this box and move it down here and we can inspect it a little better. This is our bottom board and the dead on our bottom board, and we're cleaning them off as we go. So I think this one's going to have brood in the bottom and not be a good candidate for rotating. The way it looks. Alright, there's a frame of honey. Alright, there's another frame of honey and pollen. This one's got honey, nectar, and pollen. Again, we're trying to look at everything. So we're assessing the bees. We don't want to see any black, shiny bees. Deformed wing virus, we want to look at their wings. You won't see mites unless they're heavily infested with mites. So if you see mites, you really got a problem. Everything looks pretty good. I got cells cleaned out for laying, looks like. I'd say this one's going to have brood. Yeah, this one's packed full of brood. Oh, I smashed a bee. Dang it. So this one's got a good cat brood pattern. I see milk brood. There's the queen marked red. See if I can get her in the center. Seems like I never get them in the center. Where'd she go? Up at the top there. Yeah, I think I got her in the center. So it's last year's queen, so it should be good for this year. She's laying good. So we're going to put this back. It's not a good candidate for rotating. These are coming and going like you'd expect here at the entrance down here. They're coming and going heavy. 23 is not so much. I think they was clear, but they could have been going under the lid, or who knows. Looks like they're coming in and out the lid there a little bit. All these on this side seem to be doing really good. Probably the best that I've got, especially in this yard. For some reason. Alright, that one's got a feeder in it. Let's set this top box. Looks like it's full of honey. Over here in the ground. And that's bottom box too. It's full of bees. Yeah, I don't know. They're a little more scattered out. When they're scattered out like that, better chances there won't be anything down here. And we'll take a look. A lot of times I try to go with the frames on the side so I don't roll a queen. I rolled a bee there a while ago. It's pretty rare. But if I got a frame, if I got some frames down in this bottom box just to save time. Sometimes I'll just be careful and pull a frame out of the middle. Looks like we got brood down here too. Yeah, so I see some red pollen. Good brood pattern. They've hatched out in the center and she's relayed it. Don't see the queen. I do have brood in the bottom, so I can shut them back up. All right, this one's 2 deeps and a medium. The purple supers I know are shallows because of the color I paint them, and these blue ones are all mediums. So I'll check it and see how the bottom box is doing in this one. All my supers have 9 frame spacers in them, so they only hold 9 frames in the top. As you can see, these have got brood in the super, so the queen's laying good, and a bunch of hive beetles. Might have to get some of them traps and put in here. All right, this box is super heavy. Got a stick line there for some reason. Oh gosh. Yeah, and this box is empty, so this is one that needs to be reversed. Nothing in the bottom. So we're gonna pull this off. Set it over here, clean off our bottom board. And then this heavy box will go on top of that. All right, this frame, our box is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, roughly 7 frames of bees. Got a little honey on that one. Frame full of honey. Another frame full of honey. I got it partially cleaned out. See those empty cells there? They clean that out for the queen to lay in. This is just not a very good frame. Got some honey in it, but they didn't draw it all out good. That's all honey up here, it looks like. Mostly honey. That's honey. They're cleaning this out, but there's no brood in here. It's all honey. If they've got all the brood in that super, then I'm going to put the super on the bottom and put this box that's full of honey on the top. I need this other box has got some better frames in it. It's a much better frame than some of those that's in there. That one's not a very good frame, but it's got a lot of honey in it, so I don't want to take it out. And then this super, I think, is where the brood's at. Guess it's possible it don't have any brood, but it would be rare with having this many bees, and then they're bringing in pollen too. Putting nectar in that frame. Yeah, there's the brood. So we got the brood down below, and then we got the honey up above. So they got plenty to eat and plenty of room to lay. All right, there's our red queen. You can see her. Probably went to the other side now. No, there she is. So we got our red queen, last year's queen. This will be her second year, which all the hives I've had, the second year, everybody says 1-year-old queens, but my 2-year-old queens have always been my best. So my red queens will be, I'll leave them through the summer, and then ideally requeen them in the fall and be ready for next year. But she's a good queen, she's doing good. Got a lot of bees, needs a little more brood, but she's got plenty to eat, so they're doing fine, and this was a perfect one to rotate. Make sure she's safe on the frame, and then start moving these others over. Put them all back where I had them. Where my shallow go? Medium. All right, now that's set up perfect. Okay, that's brood in the bottom. All that's full of honey. There's no place for her to lay up there until they eat some of that honey. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that other box with these good frames in it back on the top. So I am gonna rotate it. If that wasn't full, I might leave this off. Okay, so this one's good and full. We can write all our notes on the top, and we put this one was on the bottom, and now it's on the top. So we rotate them to a way that they can expand and do good and have success. Now they got to get stuff sorted back out. All right, that'll do it. We reversed a hive. Like I say, a lot of people say I never reverse, and on some hives you don't have to, but on some hives you do. And it really helps the bees a lot. The bees' tendency is to move up in the springtime. So they want to move up. They'll move up to the point if you put too many supers on top of them, too many boxes on top of them, they call it stovepiping. Well, they'll move up, instead of going out to the outsides of the box, they'll just move up in the stovepipe 3 or 4 frames straight up. So they do need to be rotated, reversed, whatever you want to call it. And they're doing good, and we'll know when we come back out here next time how much they've been able to do. The weather is supposed to get down kind of cold, maybe 50s this weekend, and then next week supposed to be back up in the 70s, even warmer than today. So they got plenty of time to do really good. Somebody was asking about feeding. I don't really feel like we need to feed right now. They're getting plenty in, they're busy. If it starts getting cold again, then there's a ton of bees in here now with all the brood they're raising, so we might have to check on the feed some then. But we'll feed some of them. It's a little light. Like I say, it's a lot of variability. Some of them need feed and some of them don't. Some of them need to be reversed and some of them don't. So you just have to keep an eye on them and see how they're doing and go from there. So I appreciate you watching to the end, and I'll see you on the next video.